Be streaming the first segment here. The abortion clinic's closing. Are y'all happy? I am.
No one else wants to talk about. The whole system is corrupt and evil. It's unreal. And they don't care. And everybody knows that. It's just sad. And fight for the soul of America. I'm going to need y'all to explain to me what a positive solution is, because you positive solutions only people have been in charge for a while now. And I've tried to see too many positive solutions. Strap in, turn up the volume, and get ready, Jackson, for unfiltered, no sugar added talk radio.
Good morning, Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas. You tuned in live to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts now. We are streaming worldwide at wyab.com and on the TuneIn app. And we are on the Facebook this morning, streaming live on the Save Jackson Facebook page if you want to watch video. We're doing the first segment live. And I just wanted to jump straight in here. We'll get to the phones and all that good stuff here in just a second. I made a promise to a lady yesterday that I would start the show with a update on the water. And I have that here. This is from the Jackson Jambalaya website, kingfish.com over there. There's a City of Jackson water customers remain under a state imposed boil water notice. So just a heads up there, without getting into the nuts and bolts of all of it, there is still a boil water notice going on in Jackson. The state of Mississippi has issued that boil water notice. The grown-ups have had to step in. Ain't that what y'all told me was coming to the White House with Biden and Kamala? That the adults were about to be back in the room. But it looks like the adults have had to take over the water situation. Even so much as having to issue boil water notice. Like, no, this water is not safe. You can't drink this water in Jackson. Don't do it. I feel so bad for everybody there. I really do. Well, I don't feel bad for it if you voted for Chalkway. You're stupid. But I feel bad for the business owners and the people who didn't sign up for this nonsense. You know, my parents, my wife's parents, people like that they didn't vote for Chalkway. They didn't ask to not have running water in their house. I feel bad for the business owners, the restaurants. But there's a part of me that says if you've opened up in Jackson in the last year, since especially since the last water fiasco, where we were out without water for a month or whatever it was, what did you think? Nothing's changed. Did you think this wasn't going to happen again? I'm just asking. Same for people that moved to Jackson. Did you think they fixed it? This ain't getting fixed, guys. This is a forever problem. If it isn't getting fixed with Joe Biden in office, it ain't getting fixed with anybody there. So just be mindful of that. While y'all standing for Ukraine, waving your pride flags and all that stuff, all that virtue signaling, you don't have water to drink in your own backyard. While your churches are flying overseas and doing third world missions, the city of Jackson, to build water wells, mind you, the city of Jackson doesn't have clean drinking water. So just again, no clean drinking water in Jackson, $100 billion plus going to Ukraine. It'll end up being $1 trillion before it's all said and done, won't it? But meanwhile, we got record high gas prices, no water in Jackson, and a city leader that just kind of hides, pops up anytime a nightclub or bar wants to open. Speaking of that, nightclubs and bars in Jackson, I kind of touched on this yesterday a little bit. They're wanting to put a moratorium on bars and clubs opening along Capitol Street. Bro, I think it's too late. I mean, look, and I'm saying this as a guy that owned a bar on Capitol Street. However, we had a restaurant too. When we had that, the King Edward was still just a shell. It wasn't open then. I mean, I remember walking through the front door, we'll say, and urban exploring all the way to the top floor. Somewhere on an old computer at my parents' house, I think, I've got all the pictures of that. And this was back in the MySpace days, so it wasn't like I had a Facebook to load them all up to. But those would be cool to go back and look at. Anyway, when we were rocking and rolling and raising hell down on Capitol Street, we weren't affecting other businesses. after 5 o'clock, we were the only thing open. And I always knew in the back of my mind, if this development ever pops off down here, we'll be the first to go. You know, we're not going to be the kind of bar and nightclub they want down here. And clearly they've ended up with that same situation now. But they have a very bar and nightclub friendly administration. You know, I never thought I would be on the side of not bar and nightclub friendly. But there's just ways to run a bar. You run it right, you draw a certain crowd, or you don't run it at all. I mean, again, I've talked to people that work at the Mayflower. They're having to close early during the week because of the hell that's being raised across the street. I got friends that live in the Standard Life in the King Edward. They have apartments there. They're filming stuff that just doesn't make any sense. I mean, you got people riding four-wheelers and dirt bikes and ATVs on one wheel or two wheels up and down Capitol Street, going and getting to-go daiquiris and stuff. From my understanding, I've seen the four-wheelers and all riding up and down. I haven't seen the to-go daiquiris, but that's what I'm being told. That's illegal if that's happening. If allegedly that's happening, but that's what's drawing that down there. I mean, let's make no mistakes about it. So. Anyhow, there's a moratorium, allegedly. It's on the docket to be voted on, I guess, at the next city council meeting. We'll see how that goes. I don't think it matters. Again, Jackson's not coming back. They can build whatever they want. They're fixing to put some Section 8 housing down there in one of those buildings, the old Landmark Center. It went from going to be a grocery store and this great little shared office thing to Section 8 housing. So, good job downtown. That's what they want. That's what they want to do to our suburbs too. They want to turn everything into mixed, multiple family housing. So avoid that if you can. All right, look, it is a great day for people who don't like to kill babies. For us non-baby murdering people, it is a great day. Today is the last day that the abortion clinic in Jackson is open. Unfortunately, there's going to be babies killed today. There will be murdering babies there today. But after today, there will be no baby murdering at the clinic, at the Pink House in Fondren. I mean, they're going to have to burn that thing down, aren't they? I mean, it'll never be able to be anything else. I mean, I guess in Fondren they could turn it into a gay bar or something, but for the most part, it'll never be able to be anything else. Maybe they could turn it into a satanic church or something. Oh, praise Jesus! So today is the last day. They lost their chancery court hearing yesterday, where they were trying to challenge an amendment to the Mississippi Constitution by the Mississippi Supreme Court. But once Roe and Casey were overturned, it became a moot point. You can read that article over at the Jackson Jambalaya. Heck, I'll read part of it to you. Long story short here, it says Mississippi, the only abortion clinic, struck out in Hinds County Chancery Court today after Special Chancellor Deborah Halford denied its request to bar the state from enforcing a ban on almost all abortions. The order is posted below. The Jackson Women's Health Organization, the Pink House, relied on the little-known 1998 case of pro-choice Mississippi versus Fordyce. The Mississippi Supreme Court held the Mississippi Constitution protected a woman's right to an abortion. Although abortion is not mentioned in the document, the court ruled 24 years ago that the Mississippi Constitution gave women a right to privacy, and that included abortion. The JWHO argued Fordyce was still valid law as it sought to strike down Mississippi's trigger law of fetal heartbeat abortion ban. However, Attorney General Lynn Fitch argued that the 1998 case was based on Roe and Casey. The reversal of those two cases obliterated Fordyce. Chancellor Halford wasted no time and issued her ruling within a few hours. You can read that ruling. I'm not going to do it over at Jackson Jambalaya. And Kingfish says obviously there will be an appeal, and I'm sure they will appeal it. But as of right now, the abortion clinic is closing today at close of business. So there is that. Someone said maybe they can turn it into a women's health clinic. Well, I think we use the word women's health very loosely, don't we? That is a very nice way of saying killing babies. And let's not polish a turd. It is murdering babies. I'm not going to put on gloves and be nice to everybody about it. Period. At the end of the day, you're murdering babies. I mean, if you'll just give them a little time, they'll get killed in the streets of Jackson anyway. But at least let nature take its course. I mean, you never know. You could be pregnant with the next president. It's unlikely. It's unlikely, but it's not for you to decide. It is not about women's health. We're going to stop that lie. We will not acknowledge that lie on the Clay Edwards Show. If y'all aren't ready to acknowledge that the 2020 election was stolen, then I'm not ready. I'm not going to acknowledge that abortion isn't baby murdering. All right, look, man, we're going to take our first break here. When we come back, we're going to open up the phone lines.